Hello and welcome to Down the Track. I have with me my co-host Abrar Aziz. How are you doing, sir?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing well. As you all know, we're all locked in. We're all in isolation due to the coronavirus, which is unfortunate. But we're just hoping that things will get better soon and everything gets back to normal. How have you been holding up?
Just staying indoors for the most part. Just getting out for any essentials or something of the sort. But yeah, it's difficult times. But this is what we can do at this point. Just stay home and try and hope that this kind of slowly but surely goes away.
Yep, and like I know, there's no sporting action. I know that's the least of everyone's concern right now. But our job is to look at sports and everything. And right now, there's no action going on. So I thought let's do a throwback edition and discuss like some of the great series. Let's do a various episodes on like this like some series that we've enjoyed over the past. So I was thinking let's start with the Ashes 2005 series,
Yep.
the England versus Australia. I'm sure that's in your memory. Enjoyed that
One of
series.
the one of the best series, most competitive, most well fought series that we've seen, and great fun. A lot of good memories from that game for us as while we were watching it much younger than we are obviously now. But it was fun to watch that series.
Yeah, I remember for me it was the summer holidays, and I think this was like probably the second series, probably the first which I followed ball by ball. Like I didn't miss
Yeah.
a session. I think it was like I've seen. I watched like the 2001 India Australia series, but I was
Right.
going to school at that time, so I didn't see ball every ball. But this series, summer vacation, I went from Saudi to India and I watched every ball of that series and almost every ball, and I just remember like. And at that time, if you remember, Australia were just unbeatable, right? For us,
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
so
They
we
were
would
the
always support
invincible
the
team
other
at the
team,
time.
right? Like we'd always
Yeah,
support the
yeah.
other team. So like we
The
wanted England to
underdogs.
win, and this is the
Yeah.
first time we actually saw in a long time. I think after 4 or 5 years, we saw the Australian team get challenged with Warren and McGrath.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Vaughan, McGrath, Bretley, the batting of Ricky Ponting, Hayden, Gilly,
Gilchrist.
Michael Clark, the solid team. Like one of the most invincible teams. Like even now, the best team that gets talked about. Like the aura of what they had the '99 World Cup, they had the 2003 World Cup, they had the 2007 World Cup also. So they were in impeccable form. Like I mean, we all knew that, like you, obviously, even I wanted England to win because we always like enjoy competition. We enjoy supporting the
Yeah.
underdogs, and for me also. But that first test where they got a little bit blown away. I mean, the first innings, right, when Australia got bowled out for 190, I think, and Steve Harmison had
You
a
said this is on. It's
he
on
got a
right now.
fifer.
Yeah.
It's on, and then England just packed really quickly. I think they were 155 all out or whatever.
Yeah.
But the first win they lost quite easily, I think, by a significant number of runs, because I think the second innings Australia scored a decent amount of runs,
Yeah.
380 or
And
something of the
actually,
sort,
McGrath cleaned
and
them
then
up in the first innings of England's batting.
first innings,
McGrath
yeah,
cleaned them,
yeah,
and they had a good, decent lead of like 70, 80 runs, I think. And then from there,
yeah,
Australia batted really well, and they had a
yeah.
300, 400
Michael
lead.
Clark had like a
Yeah.
90. Michael Clark had a 90-run stint or something, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was a. After the first test, you kind of like think back and it's like, okay, this is going to be another clean sweep,
Clean
Australia
sweep.
in form,
Yeah.
yeah,
But one thing
and
which caught
then
my eye, I don't know if that happened with you. I clearly remember when Harmison hit Ponting on the head. That's when I'm like, oh, it's on. Like, I mean,
yeah,
you don't really see
yeah,
that against Australians at that time. You don't see like the bowler bowling so quick against them, and like and nobody came and like asked if he was okay or anything. Like nobody. It was they just went back to their mark, and you could say, okay, this is getting hostile. Australia's getting a taste of their own medicine. That was the first time I felt like, oh wow, okay. I know, like after that they still lost the match, but that moment I
yeah.
think that caught my eye a little bit.
The heat was on. The heat was on. Seriously, like it was some very good bowling. I mean, when I think about the Ashes of 2005, and when we kind of talk to people, we always remember the Freddie Flintoff and the Kevin Peterson innings, and I have a feeling that not a lot of people. Or maybe I just haven't spoken to them. Have spoken about Steve Harmison.
Yeah,
He was he was amazing in that series. I think he was bowling fast. He was bowling well. Even the second test match, I think he was good. He was good all around the series. I felt like not enough credit was given to him. At least when we were watching him, when we were talking to people who we talk about too, I feel like Steve Harmison was one of the people that not a lot of talk was, and I think he deserved a lot of credit in that series.
Yeah, he got some crucial wickets, and he would break partnerships in between.
Absolutely.
And none other than the most important wicket in the second Test match, and the Kasparovich's wicket, the last wicket,
final wicket, yeah,
3 runs to win, and like it just looked like Australia's going to win it. Brett Lee was timing the ball beautifully. It looked like, oh my god, a miracle. Yeah. That's it. But then he bowls that ball exploded a bit off the pitch, and Kasparovich was in an uncomfortable kind of position, and he nicked it to Grant Jones, who took a really good catch. But I think that just changed everything, because if England lost there, the series was over, in my opinion, because they did everything to put Australia on the mat, and that is actually credit to Australia. When they were on the mat, they still fought till the end. Like, there was nobody there but Brett Lee, Shane Warne. They came with the bat, they stuck it out. Kasparovich, they just stuck it out, and that was like a big thing about, like, that was the main thing about that Australian team. They would never give up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when they lost Gilly, and they had 150 runs to go, and at that time you think that, okay, it's getting hard. Then you remember that Steve Harmison, that slow Yorker that he bowled to Michael Clarke to get him out at 175. Yeah, that was like, wow. I mean, like, that was beautiful. And then at that time you're like, okay, 8 wickets down, 100 runs more to win. You have only Gilly, you have only Warne, Lee, and Kasparovich to come. So you're like, okay, fine. This is kind of getting over now.
Done and dusted.
And then these guys come, stick it out. Shane Warne scores a few, and then he kind of like hits it back, and it hits his wickets. But then Kasparovich comes in and like hits a couple of sixes off of Ashley Giles, and you're like, oh wow, this is not over yet.
Yeah.
And then Lee, if you remember, tonks it to third man, and
he drops the catch.
15 runs to win.
I remember,
15 runs to win. And at that, England's fortune is not favoring England, and then Steve Harmison comes up with the goods, and Grant Jones picks up a beautiful catch. It was a hard one too. He had to run forward and kind of dive and take it. So suddenly the is alive, and it's 1-1, and then we go to Old Trafford. It was was something
I think
else.
that was unbelievable. It was probably the greatest Test match I've seen, like, because I saw that whole session, especially at the end, I thought, oh my god, it's slipping away, and then when that happened, and the whole atmosphere was unbelievable as well. If I'm not mistaken, that was the same match where Flintoff bowled that unbelievable spell.
It was against Ponting, right?
Yeah, it was that match, or was it the...
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was that match.
Oh, what a spell.
We'll have to, what a spell. What a spell.
And that same over, he got Langer out, if I'm not mistaken. He got Langer out. He bowled 3-4 dot balls. He got Langer out, then 4 dot balls. And then the last ball wicket.
I'm trying to see if... it was second Test at Edgbaston. Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
So, he got Langer out. Yep. What a spell, man. What a spell. Beautiful.
The way, I became a fan of Flintoff right there, and then that over he bowled was just unbelievable. Like, it was something like, and you didn't expect it. Like, he's an all-rounder, right? Like, I mean, all-rounders generally from England, you expect them to swing it a bit, but this guy was bowling fast.
Especially at that time. Oh, he was fast. He was lethal. Like, and he was in your face too. Like, he was like messing around with you. He'd smile at you when you're like, when he bowls like a really good ball, and you're kind of like taken aback, and then he's smiling at you, and he's really like out there. Freddie Flintoff is one of those feisty characters. He will always like be in your face, and I think the only time that didn't work was when he messed with UV and UV scored sixes. Yeah. But apart from that, I think he's always been a fine character, and I was a fan. I was a fan of him too after that. Like really fast, strong bowling, and he, a couple other times also throughout the series he was quite lethal. But that was like for sure.
Yeah, and he had the I think he had the better of Gilchrist as well. Adam Gilchrist didn't score at all in that series, and that was a major factor for Australia losing the series, because Gilchrist, whenever he comes at number 7, he comes and he counterattacks and he gives Australia a respectable score, but he was not doing that at any stage in this series.
He was one of the series to forget.
He was struggling with the Flintoff coming around the wicket and creating that angle, and the ball just suddenly coming in or going out. He was finding it really difficult, especially when I was reversing. So I think that was one. Yeah, I think that was a very important factor as well. But moving on to the third Test match, Old Trafford again. England win. This time England win the toss again, I think, and they're batting. And McGrath was back this test match. Second test match, he
Yeah, yeah.
wasn't.
He rolled his
He
ankle.
rolled his
Yeah,
ankle. So and
yeah,
McGrath was back. England won with a captain's innings. I think he scored 166 around that.
yeah. It was
And
a beautiful innings. Yeah.
he set up the game for England. One,
Yep.
one day to go. They need to get Australia out, and then steps in Ricky Ponting and plays the captain's innings.
Yeah, absolutely. What an innings by Ricky Ponting too. Like on day 5, when there's variable bounce, there's like some are kind of keeping low, and the class of the man. What a batsman Ricky Ponting has been over the years for Australia. Like absolutely incredible batsman, and his class truly showed in that third test match and final day. It was a hard testing conditions, and he came through.
Yeah, and if you noticed, he didn't change his game. The batsmen around him, like Gillespie came in, he tried
Yeah,
to block. Other people were trying to block it out, but he didn't change his game. He still played his shots. Ponting's game didn't become defensive, even though they needed to survive that day. The chase was not on; they needed to survive, but he didn't change his game.
Yeah.
He just played, and it worked in his favor at the end.
Right.
But it's kind of risky, but it just shows the class of the man, doesn't it?
Incredible player. I've always like when I used to watch Australia play, I used to hate Ricky Ponting because
Yeah.
obviously he was one of the captains of the best team
Yeah.
and all that. But like over the years, after you kind of mature a little bit, you realize what a amazing talent the batsman was. I mean, beautiful. Like some of his innings, like I was looking at a video recently about some of the top 10 innings of Ricky Ponting, but that's for another day. But wow, some really exquisite batting.
Yeah, especially
to
when
show.
the pressure is on. England are like coming at you with full speed. You're losing wickets at the other end, but he just kept on batting, and in the end, the McGrath and Bretley did the job. Like I mean, they could have still lost after Ponting got out. Like I think he flicked it on the leg side, and it just went off his glove, and the keeper caught it.
There was still 4 to 6 overs, right, for them to survive after that.
And just before that, there was there's an insane catch. Strauss dropped it, hit his shoe, and then Jones it deflected off his shoe, and then Jones dived and caught it. And then Ponting got out after that. It was I think, and then there was still 4 overs left. I think I thought England would have won that game. Like with 4 overs, they should have wrapped it up. But
but Bretley was even the second test and even the third test. I think he kind of just showed like was very handy with the bat throughout. Like he was bowling, of course, he's in the team as a bowler, but he was very handy with the bat, especially second and third test.
Some sort of redemption.
Yeah, true. So after missing out on the second test, obviously that was I mean, they would have liked to win the second, obviously, but at least some kind of redemption, like you said.
Yeah, and two things. So like I thought at that time, even now when I look at it, that Australian team just doesn't know how to give up. Right, but also like if you look at it from the other perspective, this is the first time I saw Australia celebrate a draw. They always win games, like they always win test matches. They don't settle anything for anything apart from a win. So for me, that was one thing. Like, oh, they're celebrating a draw. That means this English team is competing. Like, I mean, this series is well and truly on.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was. I mean, you could see at that time that Australia was a little bit worried. Not worried. I wouldn't say worried. They were still a very good team, but they knew that the challenge was from the other team was pretty strong. It wasn't like something that they could. What they were used to over the past few years of dominating cricket at the time. So something that was definitely. Something to see. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then the fourth test again. England won the toss again. They batted again, put on a big score again. I think Strauss batted really well in that match.
Yeah.
And Flintoff got 100.
Yeah, Flintoff got 100. That's when he kind of came in with the bat, produced the goods with the bats too.
I preferred him as a bowler, but that series he did everything.
I mean, he even fielded beautifully. He was everywhere.
He did everything.
It was Freddie Flintoff's series. I mean, that's how obviously that's why he was the man of series and everything. But
it set it up like they had a 400-run score.
Yeah,
because in between they're losing wickets. The middle order got out cheaply in between. And,
I think so. Yeah, Warren didn't perform in that game. I think. And
it was Flintoff and Jones strung in a good partnership, and that gave them a good score. And then they bowled brilliantly again. England got Australia all out, and then for the first time in years, like a long time, they made them follow on. And then there's what were you saying?
It was. I'm trying to think. They hadn't won on the Ashes for a long time before that, right?
Who, England?
England at the time. They kind of
20-30
they
years.
So this was a big deal for them also,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to go ahead and get that victory for them. So like, I mean, the nerves would have been there at the time,
Yeah,
obviously, but
and it showed because they were just chasing 120 in the fourth test
yeah,
match, and they just after a good start with the opening batsman Shane Warne came and just produced
started, yeah.
magical spell, magical. Like I mean,
Dude, that
we talked
that
about
guy,
Flintoff,
man.
but the Warne was no less in that series, or like he was.
Absolutely, he was getting the wickets all around. Like he was incredible.
And
I
on
mean, but
English
that's
pitches, they're not supposed to
yeah,
turn.
yeah, 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 exactly. And that's the thing. But you expected that of Bond, right? You always because he's a great bowler. You knew that by then.
I
But you
mean,
kind
looking
of
back at it, it's unbelievable. I've never
oh,
seen anyone
absolutely,
do that. Like
absolutely, absolutely.
even
He's
now, like you on the fourth, fifth day, you see like Lion coming in, getting wickets and stuff like that.
yeah.
But this guy from day one used to be a threat.
And he used to spin it like
Yeah,
he
turn the
finger
ball.
rolls like
Yeah,
freaking
and on day
meter
one,
feet
the ball
worth
used
of
to turn
spin.
this much. I didn't understand. Like, I mean,
Dude,
I appreciate him
magician,
much more
magician,
now. At that time, I
magician.
wanted Australia to lose, so I didn't
Yeah,
really
yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
now I went back and watched the series and everything, and just unbelievable what he was doing. And he was
Him,
contributing with the bat as well. And like, yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
I'm saying him and Glenn McGrath, like those are the kind of
Magra, yeah,
bowlers you dream for, man.
yeah.
Dream. You, you, McGrath, 100 overs, line and length will be spot on. Like,
Yeah,
wow, man, what a bowler! Like, what a bowler!
yeah,
I
and I
think
remember,
one of
yeah,
my most favorite fast bowlers. Obviously, at the time, I didn't like him again because he was on the
yeah.
on the opposing team.
You
But
always get
like
Sachin
when
out
you
in the
think about
first over.
when you always get. I mean, obviously, all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a bowler, man! Like I am a big fan. When you think about this Australian team that they had, like the likes of Ponting, Hayden, Langer, Gilly, Clark, I think we already discussed this, but Vaughan and then Lee and McGrath. Wow, what a team! What a team! Like, oof. And that's why it makes it so special that England were able to like defeat them in there,
Yeah.
and in 2001 when India were able to defeat them. I mean, as
Yeah.
Indian fans, I was very happy when that happened, obviously.
Yeah.
But coming back to the fourth test, but yeah, they did. They had the nerves. Kind of dropped a couple of wickets fell and they looked shaky, but they survived and
Yeah,
came through. But that was very
Giles and
important.
Hogarth finished it. But
Finished
I
off.
saw an interview. One actually said this. Langer came up to him and asked, "How much do you need to defend?" He said 150, 160. Australia gave him 120 to defend it, and he almost defended it. Like it just shows, their
Yeah.
mentality is just so strong. Like, I mean, yes, you are confident that you're a good player and everything. That's why you're playing for the best team in the world. But at the same time, when you know that the game is out, to make a match out of nothing, that shows greatness as well, I think.
Absolutely. And they were like from ball one, they were at it. They were in your face. They were like behind the wicket. They were chirping around. They
Yeah.
were messing around with the England players. Absolutely. Like they didn't give up for a second. Like even 119 when it was, they had only Giles and Hogarth over there. They kind of were still at it. They still believed that they could have gotten those last two wickets out as well. So like amazing, amazing. Props to England for coming through, and props to Australia for really being there throughout the game and not giving up for 1 second.
Yeah, for sure. And then that just set up the last match beautifully, because if Australia won that match, they would take the series. Like they would take the Ashes.
Because
That's
they
the
had won
most
the game,
important.
yeah.
Yeah. For England,
Absolutely.
like
Yep.
they needed that earned. It didn't matter about anything else. They needed that. And even Australia, like they would be sad they didn't win the series, but if they took the Ashes, they would be more than happy. So it's,
Oh, absolutely.
it was all set up in the Oval. I think the rain played quite a bit of spoil sport in that match.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't see that cliffhanger finish, which we saw in all the other Test matches, except
Honestly, if the rain would have not come through and if the rain would have stayed away, I think Australia would have done it. I think
Australia would have won it.
enough
You're
in
saying?
that team. Yeah, I think so.
Even
I
I
don't know,
think so,
because
but you know what the problem? I think even with the rain, they could have won that match. But the problem is they started dropping catches, which is very
dropped a
uncharacteristic
couple
of
of
their team.
catches, yeah. I
Shane
think,
Warne dropped
yeah.
Peterson in his first few balls, and he went on to score
Yeah.
150.
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the big game changers, obviously,
Bretley
because
came in
KP's
and
innings.
he was steaming in. He took Vaughan out, bowled, and he
Yeah.
got another wicket. And it was Kevin Peterson. If he got Kevin Peterson out, I think they could have been
I
bowled
think
out.
that was over. Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I
But
I
that
agree. I
innings,
agree.
man.
But
That innings was unbelievable.
it's his first test series, and he's an unknown prodigy, and he comes out and produces the goods under pressure for 150 runs. Obviously he got dropped in the first I think
Yeah.
it was 3 or 4 runs or whatever, but he got dropped, and he's like, okay, fine, here's my opportunity, and he goes in and scores a big 100 at the time when England needed it the most, I think, and comes up with the goods. And I think a little bit of luck favored fifth test, and they needed that. But uh, what a series, man! Like wow,
Unbelievable.
just wow.
And yeah,
Ah,
you're right. Like, I
and
mean,
yeah, goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it again.
yeah, it was crazy. Imagine like second test, third test, fourth test all went till the last. Like, I mean, till the last ball. Like, we didn't know what was gonna
Yeah,
happen. Those three tests were like, it went down to the wire literally. And I think that's what rejuvenated test matches again. Like after the India Australia series in 2001, people were losing interest 2002,
yeah,
3, 4, and then
yeah.
2005 it was this Ashes series. It brought everyone back. I haven't seen a series like that since.
Not even remotely close. I don't think
I
there
mean,
is
this series
anything
was
that
good. The
is.
2019 one, I rank that high, but it wasn't like this.
No, 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 not even close. But like, yeah, it was a pretty good series. You're right because kind of comeback for Steve Smith, and he was really good throughout the series, and Labuschagne was good, but the drama, there was no like, oh, 3 runs to win and you have last wicket. There was no cliffhangers. There was nothing of the sort. Like, even the fourth test which England won, it was down to the last couple of wickets. So,
Yeah,
and nail biting like all throughout. And I think the first test, of course, Australia won convincingly, but the two at the doing that at England one were close. Like it was a tricky situation. One thing here or there. If Kasparovich's was a little bit stronger, that goes for four and they
that
lose the
goes for
game. So
four.
that
Yeah,
was the
the margins.
margins,
Yeah,
the margins. Yeah. So that's why I think that was one of the best fought games and wow, yeah, quite
yeah.
something.
Yeah, just to wrap it off, I have a few questions, trivia questions for you about the series. If you can answer it,
Oh my God, no, don't do that to me.
if you can
Yeah,
answer
sure,
it,
go ahead.
if you get it correct, I don't have an hamper for you. But like after this pandemic is over and we get out, I'll take you for a nice meal or something.
Okay, sounds good.
But okay, who was the highest scorer of the series?
Oh my God, I don't remember that. Wait, let me think.
You want me to give you a hint?
Uh, yeah, okay, give me options. Let me
What?
see.
I'm not giving. Okay, I'll give you options.
Okay, no, fair enough. Give me a hint. Give me a hint.
Huh? Actually,
Give me a hint.
it's up to you. Whichever one. I don't mind giving you options.
Okay, give me a.
But I'm
I have to think.
okay.
I
Ricky
have to think
Ponting,
who. Okay,
Justin Langer,
not Langer for sure. I don't think Langer had a century in the
Andrew
game.
Strauss,
No,
and Kevin Peterson.
I think it was Ponting. No, it was
Ooh.
between Ponting and KP. I can't
No,
remember.
it was between Langer and KP.
Langer and KP.
And it's KP.
Oh wow,
And that just goes to show
it is.
Langer is so quiet and like you don't even
Yeah,
catch
that is
anything.
actually true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So
he
people,
actually did have a couple of big innings.
yeah,
Because the first test match he scored the
he
runs
scored. Yeah.
because that he was the
But he
one
would
who kind
contribute
of
even in the fifth test and even the fourth test. He came and he scored
he-
runs. But like,
absolutely.
but we
Now that I
can't
think
like.
about it,
Yeah, he's very quiet in that sense. But yeah, a very critical.
because you
And it's not a big difference,
in
huh?
my head,
Yeah.
yeah, in my head it's Ponting because Ponting had
Scored
that
the
amazing
100.
century,
Yeah.
obviously. Because yeah,
But he was
but
at it, Langer.
yeah,
But
Langer
yeah,
had a couple of decent innings.
Peterson
Yeah,
was
but I think
473
Peterson,
highest, and then
yeah, okay,
Langer 394. I'm sorry, Langer's not the second highest in the series, but he's the highest for Australia.
for Australia, okay, yeah, and then yeah, okay, Strauss was second, I think,
Yeah,
right?
and then Flintoff was third.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
And so then they were the top three. Wow,
yeah.
okay.
Okay, and most wickets in the series? It
It's
has to be
not
Harmison,
Freddie.
man. It has to be Harmison.
It has to be Harmison. I think so. Yeah, yeah. Well, it was Harmison, right? Yeah, it was Harmison. He had the no, but was it though? You're messing with me. No, it wasn't Harmison.
Yeah, I'm messing with you.
Yeah, but he had a good first test match. He was
You
bowling
want to
well
give you
throughout the
options
series. But I
or
think yeah, okay, give me options.
McGrath, Flintoff?
I think McGrath missed his test, so I don't think it was McGrath. I have a
McGrath,
feeling.
Flintoff, Brett Lee, Shane Warne.
Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna go with it's either Warney or Flintoff, but I think it was Flintoff.
So let me just tell you, both those two options. It's one of them, and the difference is
For a wicket.
they're both top two, right? Okay,
Yeah.
the top
Yeah.
two. The difference is 16 wickets. One guy got 40, the other guy got 24.
Warney got the most wickets.
Yeah, 40
Warney got the
wickets.
most wickets.
Shane Warne
Definitely
40,
Warney got
Flintoff
the most.
24.
Because yeah. No, Warney definitely got the most wickets.
And the highest individual score?
Wasn't it the 166 that won?
Correct. Moving on.
Yeah.
Well,
Finally, one correct one.
More centuries?
Uh, did anyone have more than two?
No. 2 is the most.
No, I think 2 centuries was the most,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
We got that right.
So then, yeah. Who was it? Wani had 1 century.
Warren
Freddie had one.
Vaughn, you're
Wani
saying.
had 1 century.
Michael-
No, Michael won. Michael won had one
yeah,
century. Freddie Flintoff also had only one.
I'm
He had
asking
two.
you the question. I can't tell you the answer.
Dude, I should have checked my scoreboards before coming through. You that's why you asked me now to check the scoreboards before coming through.
Yeah.
I
mean,
should
even
have
if you
checked
checked it, it's hard to it's hard to remember this.
Remember that. Was it Freddie Flintoff?
No,
he
I'll give
didn't
you
have
a
two
hint.
centuries
Like, it's not like someone like who was the star.
there. I know KP had only one. I don't think Ricky Ponting had 2 centuries in that series.
No. You give up?
Was it Langer?
No.
Langer didn't have 2
I'll make
centuries.
it
I don't
easier
think
for
he
you.
did.
It's someone who batted in his position, but not Langer.
Strauss had
Yeah.
2 centuries.
Yeah.
Wow. I remember one very clearly. When was the other one? Which was the other
One was
one?
in Old Trafford. One was, I think, the 5th one or the 4th one.
Oh, he scored a century in the 5th test too. I
4th
see.
or
Okay.
5th, I'm not sure.
I remember the Old Trafford clearly because that
Then
was
it was
when
the 4th test probably. 5th probably. 5th.
probably the 5th. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And the last question, but I want to know both answers. The best bowling figures for Australia? This is easy, man.
Magra,
I'm not
no?
asking you
No.
the numbers. I'm not asking you the
No,
numbers.
it was Wani.
They're
It was
absolutely
Wani.
wrong. I'm not going to give you the thing for this.
No,
You said Magra.
Wani. It was Wani.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm
No,
not giving you the point for that.
No, it was Wani. Sorry. This was a very easy one. I'm thinking about the first test that Magra was good at. It was definitely Wani.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. That was close. He took 5 wickets in that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one was 6 wickets, 48 runs.
Yeah.
And for England, this guy was my underrated guy. For you, it was Harmison. This guy was for me.
Oh wow, Hoggard.
No. I mean, that guy was also amazing.
He was good.
He was the other one, just coming.
Simon Jones.
Yeah, Simon Jones.
Yeah.
Simon
Jones.
That's
what I'm saying. That bowling unit was bowling so well together. Like even Giles chipped in with a couple of wickets here and there.
And each one had a unique kind of thing, right? Harmison had the bounce. Flintoff had that speed and reverse. Simon Jones was pure reverse, late
absolutely.
swing.
And then Hoggard
was the natural conventional swing.
Beautiful. Wow, what a like I think about that first game. I think it was very early when Hoggard kind of like swinged it in and clean bowled Matty Hayden. Remember the first?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
What a ball! Oof,
yeah,
what a ball!
That was unbelievable.
That was beautiful.
And one thing I actually wanted to mention, I forgot to mention, Michael Vaughan's captaincy was really good in that series because if you really look at it closely, his field placements were very unconventional. For Hayden, he had someone like really close to the bowler, and then he had for Langer, he had deep point posted, not because trying to be defensive, but he knew that he's going to cut and he's trying to stop him from his scoring shot. I mean,
the only time where he was kind of criticized, I think, was when in the second test when they were down and they needed like 50-60 runs, he had fielders back. These guys kind of just kept chipping it to square leg and to get those singles especially Casper. I think that was the only time he was criticized.
Yeah. To be honest with you, that was like a mistake from his part. But at the same time,
because he could have very easily kept them in. But that's what it's a two-edged sword. Like he could have gone the either way. Like if they would have nicked it a little bit better, it would have gone through and 4 runs. That way, at least he was giving 1 run. So it's always a tricky one. That was.
And also for him, I think at that game, I think he was expecting his bowlers to finish it off. He didn't expect it to go that. Like he thought he'll try to be a bit safe, cover the boundaries, but at the same time he thought they'll finish it off, and you have to also understand that he's been planning this Australia downfall for so long, and it was all crumbling. He was so close, and it looked like it's slipping away. But I think that was the time he was rightly criticized. But apart from that, his field placements, his bowling changes, everything was pretty much spot on.
Top notch. I think he was a great captain, and I think if Michael Vaughan is remembered for something in his England career, it's probably that series.
Yeah, that series for sure.
That he was he to his own admission, he always says that I was a pretty average cricketer, but I was at least Ashes winning captain.
Ashes
So
winning captain.
that's good
And
for
I
him.
think,
Yeah,
one thing that team had, which no English team had, was they were mentally very strong.
yeah, yeah.
Because
I
if you look
think
at, Triscotic,
the characters.
yeah, the
Yeah,
characters. Like Triscotic,
because
Strauss,
Freddie. Yeah,
yeah, like no, what I was trying to say is, yeah, like Flintoff, Peterson, these guys are
Flintoff, yeah.
flamboyant, like
Yeah,
mentally,
yeah, yeah,
they're very
yeah.
mentally strong. Like Peterson, like you said, he doesn't care what's going on; he'll play his game, right?
Right,
Peterson, Flintoff is the same as well. But if you look at
Yeah.
the team, that team, you don't see like a Lakshman there, like a Dravid, Sachin
Yeah.
Tendulkar. You have
Yeah.
Triscotic, Strauss. They're all like chipping in somewhere or the other. But that team, they played as a unit. The bowling was unbelievable, but they were mentally strong even when it came to batting.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. They were very, very good. Like they just gelled very well. It was just a nice, well run team because the captaincy was good. Everyone was in it to win it. Like they kind of they wanted to win it so bad, and you could see. I mean, it helped that they had like some flamboyant characters in Flintoff. And,
that won them the
Peterson.
series. Flintoff and Peterson, they won them the series.
That was a little bit of edge.
Because
they
you need
needed
that match-winning thing, right? To take risks. They took risks and they won you the series, right? Both with bat and ball. But if you look at the other players, they all chipped in from one way or the
every
other.
single one of them. Every single one of them.
It wasn't like
even
they don't go down even as the greatest England players, like those guys, apart from Flintoff and Peterson. But you'll always remember that.
You don't
team.
remember a Simon Jones. You don't remember Grant Jones, but you remember them because of the Ashes.
Yeah, you remember.
Because I don't think they played a lot. Yeah, didn't play a lot
and
after
England,
that.
actually, like a lot of English players will argue with us and say the 2010-11 was for them better achievement because they went and run in Australia. But that team was missing some of these greats, right? So for me, like this was the series, like.
Doing it in Australia, like winning in Australia is also a big deal. But I just feel like
very big deal.
30 years
it's very close.
Absolutely.
But it's just that this team was like another level. The Gilchrist, Hayden, McGrath, Warren.
Now, so if you had to choose between Ben Stokes and Andrew Flintoff as an all-rounder, if you had to just pick one, who would you pick?
Oof. Look.
Yeah, because I just feel like for me, I rate Flintoff as one of my most favorite, right? But then Ben Stokes over the past couple of years has produced the goods in like a couple of times, and he's just been so good. So like if you had to just pick one, I'd love to have both of them in my team, right? But if you had to just pick one, who would it be?
Okay, now tell me, in a test match or a one-day match?
Fair call, test match.
I mean, it's still hard. It doesn't change my
But
I'll tell you the thing. Let me just tell you this. Flintoff is a better bowler. Ben Stokes is a better batsman. Okay.
That's exactly what I just said too. I was like, I think Flintoff has always been a bowling all-rounder and has been a batting all-rounder.
Yeah.
A batsman who can chip with the
ball.
The thing
is, I've seen Stokes also in that Ashes series in 2019 last year. He did something with the ball as well. That the game where he hit that crazy knock.
With the Leach, right? That was one of the best.
That was one of the best knocks I've ever seen, right?
Yeah. he was stonking that ball, man. What a player.
I think so it's like, I mean, because of that innings and that World Cup innings, it makes it very difficult to choose between the two. But
that's why it just came to my mind.
But I would go with Flintoff because I haven't seen many people make people like Hayden, Gilchrist, Ponting dance on the pitch.
That's the only reason.
Yeah,
because that is the invincible Australian team, right?
Yeah.
And for them to feel scared, I wouldn't say scared. Scared is a strong word. Like to go out there and show them who's boss.
Yeah. It's for me, I mean, I don't like comparing generations, right? Because we say the bowling is better, batting is better, but to be honest, like what Flintoff did against Shane Warne, because I saw these players like I used to watch Australia whenever they played any team, they used to batter them. It wasn't like they just beat them. Like now cricket is much more even, like there's closer games. Like this World Cup we didn't know who was going to win. Like England were favorites, but that didn't mean they didn't lose in the World Cup. They lost a few games. They lost to Sri Lanka. Who the hell would have thought, right? But at that time Australia was on another level. Then everybody else used to compete. So to see that Australian team like get like not scared, but like they were rattled, right? They were like shaken. And, and he was doing it with the bat and ball. He was hitting Shane Warne for sixes, and then with the ball he was making these people jump up and down in the crease. So that's the only reason. But like it's very hard to tell. But I mean, it's very hard to differentiate between the two. But I think that's the only reason for Flintoff.
Because I think if we have to compare the current English team with that team, I think that's one spot that uh,
They
is
don't
is
miss.
is uh, is very tough to pick, right? Because I feel like the faster bowlers, Broad and Anderson, are pretty good. I mean, not to take anything away from how that team performed, but I feel like Broad and Anderson over the years have performed better overall. Because Hummerson and Hoggard, yes, they were good, but I think Broad and Anderson a little bit better, uh, and a couple others. But I just feel like that's just something that came to my
The
mind.
thing is,
And
at that time, the thing is, Harmison, Hogarth, Simon Jones, and Flintoff, they're all
peak.
at their peak, right? So
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's why that bowling attack was like the best. And yes, like I don't want to make that comparison again, but that batting
yeah. It's
lineup was
it's
also
unfair. It's
the batting
unfair.
lineup was also incredible, right? The Australian
Yeah,
one. So
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think that just gives
I
them
agree.
the edge.
The
But
edge.
I mean, like the thing is, this argument comes even like between Sachin and Kohli, who's better. They say
True,
that
true,
Sachin
true,
had
true,
better
true.
bowlers, right? But then I can come and tell you
Yeah,
that Gavaskar faced even better bowlers.
yeah. True. Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. I mean, it's unfair. I think we should not go to that
but
angle.
yeah,
But I
if you
think just the
but yeah,
Stokes and
for
Flintoff one was
yeah, but
something
if you
just so
have to answer
intriguing.
it, then I would say Flintoff, but it's very difficult. Yeah,
Yeah,
like you said.
no, I agree. I agree 100%. I think players should never be compared through generations. I think in the current lot, who's your favorite all rounder? Okay, maybe Ben Stokes, but but at the
Yeah,
time it
hundred
was
percent
different.
Ben Stokes.
Yeah.
For you, it's Hardik Pandya. For me, it's Ben Stokes.
I don't like Hardik Pandya that much.
Like
I
Imad
mean,
Wasim.
I am a fan of the way he can talk the ball. That uh, I will never forget that innings that he scored when I can't remember.
Against Pakistan.
Was it Pakistan when the Asia Cup finals when he came in and then got run out unfortunately?
No, that was Champions Trophy.
Asia Champions Trophy,
Yeah,
Champions
yeah.
Trophy.
In both matches against Pakistan, in
Yeah,
the first match he hit Imad Wasim for 3 4 sixes in the over, and
yeah.
then he hit. Then
And when they kind of lost a few
then
early
in the
wickets
final they were losing. He came and he smashed it, but then he got run out.
and then he got run out. Man, but that batting, man. I mean, this is we're digressing from the topic, but that batting, wow! Like
Yeah,
that clean hitting, I've rarely seen that kind of clean hitting. That guy's got some mad power. But
yeah. But Ben
yeah,
Stokes is Ben Stokes.
oh yeah, absolutely. And he has shown mad power in the 2019 Test match against with the number 11 Jack Leach. So it's hard to compare, obviously. But I
Yeah.
think overall, because of what Ben Stokes has achieved, Ben Stokes is definitely current best all rounder.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll discuss more matches, more series like these. Like I think this 2019
Absolutely,
one,
yeah.
that match Ben Stokes hit. I think that's a good
We can
one
talk
to
to that
analyze.
one,
And
and
then
then the
the
2001,
India,
the
Australia. Yeah,
our
oh,
favorite
yeah, yeah. I think that's where we all got into like cricket like crazy. Like I was watching it.
that was my first Test series that I followed fully. Like, I mean, I didn't
Yeah.
watch ball by
I,
ball, but I followed the
I mean,
series
I
fully.
saw the India Pakistan one before that. The one was 1-1, like in Chennai. Sachin hit like
It's
150.
2000, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah,
that
yeah.
series is also
Okay,
good to discuss. But this 2001
yeah,
one was just unbelievable. We have to talk about that in the
yeah,
next episode.
absolutely. It was, yeah. And then it was the 99 World Cup was my first World Cup, and this of what I remember very clearly, and this
Yeah.
was my first Test series that I followed.
Yeah, I mean that
A
was it
lot
was
of
an
cricket
unbelievable series. I don't think I've seen India team like win something like that. Like I mean, it was just crazy, especially that
and that follow on and all of
yeah,
that. Who would have thought that
yeah,
this Indian team would have like the Lakshman and Dravid would go a whole day without losing a
yeah,
single
that
wicket.
was
Like they just
unbelievable.
batted the whole day, and
But
you're following on at the time. So it's like, wow, man, that's
yeah,
something else.
but yeah, we'll discuss
Yeah,
this in the next episode
sure,
for sure.
absolutely.
And
Let's do it.
yeah, any more series or anything, whatever comes to your mind, we'll discuss that as well in the following episodes. And let's see how it
Good.
goes. All right,
Yeah,
thank you for joining me, and take care. Have a good night.
you too. Bye bye.
Bye.